good evening, and thank you for tuning in to another week with Fathers Who Care. Listen, it's been one of those weeks. It's been busy. It's been good. It's been rewarding. We still got our young people out here making a difference. They are, of course, and they're producing the show tonight. And of course, before I get too far down the road, I want to say to you all, thank you all for coming out last night as we came together to remember Demetrius Griffin, the young fella that was burned alive in a garbage can. Mm-hmm. Well, we did an event last night over on Walton and Pine to commemorate his life and to also stop the violence and the code of silence. There's now a reward, and the reward has escalated to another amount. You can get in touch with the Leaders Network about that. But also we want to just tell those folks out there who know something, say something. We want to bring some closure to that family. But we want to also encourage you to come out for the Noonies Walk, where we're going to do something else for in memory of Demetrius Griffin, justice for Demetrius Griffin on the 17th of August. But also don't forget about Athana Muhammad, the 81-year young sister that was brutally murdered out here on the south side. We want to bring some understanding and some clarity and closure to that. So for additional information, give Fathers Who Care a call, log in to Fathers Who Care, tweet us, Facebook us, Instagram us, all of that stuff. The young folks got us rolling. So just get in touch with us. But listen, tonight is one of those shows where we want to get real serious. You know, we got the theme for the night of trying to unite the people, getting the people actively involved. That don't change. But the difference tonight is we want to talk specifically on a clinical level. We want to talk specifically about mental health. We want to talk about trauma. We want to talk about, are you healthy? Do you know your mental health status? I mean, all of that good stuff. So I would be remiss if I tried to deal with this stuff on my own. So what I said was I had to call in some of the heavyweights. You know, I called in these two guys here. I called in Donald, and I called in, what you say your name is now?
Dr. Saafir.
That's it. Because he told me, he said, if you say my name wrong again, which I'm telling you, as long as I've been knowing the doc, I'm telling the truth, ain't the truth? Yeah. As long as I've been knowing him, right, you've been correcting me. Right. So from now on, I'm going to say, what's your name again? Right. But listen, it is a pleasure, on a serious note, for you good brothers to come out and for the work that you guys are still doing, that you have your hands on the plow and you just don't give up. You keep on plowing away. You keep on being a light in darkness and salt in the earth for so many people on the west side of Chicago. And there's some things coming on, and I just want to jump out there real quickly because there's a ribbon cutting on July the 30th, I believe it is, at 10 o'clock. And I think it's at the location on Madison, 4133. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So that's going to be a ribbon cutting on the wellness, the West Side Community Wellness Triage, and the Community Triage and Wellness Center.
Right. You got it.
And so you all are working in collaboration, correct?
Yes.
On this endeavor, right?
And we are partners in this endeavor.
Right.
That goes
along with the community.
Deeper than collaboration.
Well, it's a community endeavor.
It is. It is a community.
But you all
endeavor.
Partnering on this initiative.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
Yeah. So, but it's one of those endeavors where we're getting ready to bring some much needed resources to the community.
Yes, sir.
Some much needed support. You know, the community has been crying out ever since Betty Jones. You remember Betty Jones and Antonio. LaGreer, over here off of Erie. The community has been crying out for a triage, a wellness center, some place where they can come and get immediate intervention and support. Is that going to be this type of site?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
yes,
so let's do this here as we move forward. Again, you're watching Fathers Who Care. The number here is 312-738-1060. This is a live interactive show. That means you can call in and with some questions, but let's talk specifically. Let's talk specifically as we move forward about our mental health, the state of our mental health. What are we doing to stay healthy? What are we eating to stay healthy? Leave those, what you call them things, what you call them, number 5 and number 6?
Oh, the red dye number 40 and yellow dye number 5.
You're getting ready to get educated on why you should lay off of the red dye number 5 and number 40. Is that what you're saying?
That's close enough.
Well, you know what I mean. You got my point. But I'm talking about, but you know what I'm talking about. Because these kids are running around now. Not only do they have these bags of these flaming hots, then they put hot sauce on it and cheese.
Exactly. Right.
Woo. But anyway, let's do this here.
Right.
We have two of the legends in the community, two of the brothers who are really committed to empowering our people, particularly those who don't know and those who are the least of us. But let's get on down. They are committed. They are just dedicated. Most of you should know the faces of these gentlemen. If you don't, these are people you should know. On our far right over there, you got Donald Dew. Donald Dew, you're the CEO and president. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Of what?
Habilitative Systems, Inc.
And what is that?
We have been providing comprehensive health and human services to primarily the west side of Chicago for this year, 40 years.
Okay. Now, and Dr. Who? What's your name again?
Saafir.
Okay.
You're going to get it sooner or later, Walter.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you Doc.
There you
like
go.
everybody else.
Right.
So you're the CEO and president of the Bobby E. Wright Behavioral Health Center, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
What is that?
Right. So we are a comprehensive behavioral health center located at 9 South Kedzie. We've been at that location since 1976.
Since Huck was a puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our first executive director was Dr. Bobby E. Wright, and
The legend.
the legend. And so,
Yeah.
and a lot of people on the West Side will remember him, especially if you're in our generation.
Yeah.
Because he was
Yeah.
a social activist, a licensed clinical psychologist, one of the first African Americans to receive
African-American?
to receive his doctoral degree in clinical psychology from the University of Chicago.
There you have it.
Now, yes, exactly.
So that's why this is so much information we need to share. And please bear with us because we got a lot we want to share. And call in with some questions on what can we do to work together, to pool our resources, to support each other, to forgive each other, to love each other. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. But we're going to get specific today. Now, I want to just, for the purpose of relaxing just a tad, I want to ask just a personal question, if I may. I just want to know, who are you, both of you gentlemen, and what is your real purpose for existing? We know that you're a clinician. We understand that good stuff. We understand you're a big old president and CEO of that historical institution. And likewise over there with HSI. Anybody that know HSI is a staple in our neighborhood. And if you don't know, that means you ain't even from the West Side, all right? You're not even from the West Side if you don't know these agencies.
Yeah.
If you don't know these agencies, going back on the East Side, where you from, all right? And that's in the water. But go ahead. Tell us, who are you and what is your purpose for existing? Not that CEO stuff, but something personal about you gentlemen.
Yeah. You want to start?
Sure. Well, first of all, let me just say, Reverend, thank you so much for having us on the show
It's
and
my
for
pleasure.
constantly bringing the most relevant, compelling issues to our community.
Thank you so much.
I think it's desperately needed, it's valued, and we support it 100%. Who is Donald Dew?
Right, Donald Dew.
I am a son. I'm a brother. I am a father. I guess more than anything, I'm just a daddy who cares.
A daddy who cares.
For my children, for the children in our community. I'm very passionate about service. I realized from a very young age that was my calling, that was my purpose, to serve as many people as I could for as long as I could with everything that I had in me, to do just that. I am very concerned about the pain that I've seen for decades, for generations, historically, that our people have suffered. I have not at all embraced or enjoyed the victims being blamed for their life conditions. And I decided at a very young age that I wanted to do something about it. So being born and raised here on the west side of Chicago, I saw a lot of nitty-gritty survival. I saw a lot of folks just, living from day to day, really just trying to survive. And they came up here from the South, many of us came up from Mississippi, Louisiana, looking for a better place to live, looking for a greater quality of life.
What's the name of that documentary that you kind of...
It was called Heading West.
Heading West.
Heading West.
Okay,
And
I'm
that's
sorry. I didn't
exactly-
mean to stop you, but...
No problem
go ahead.
at all. But that's exactly why we told that story, because
Yeah.
as a young child, I lived that experience. I lived the experience of my parents coming up from the South, from Mississippi and Louisiana in particular, to really have a better life and to do better for their children. And because of that aspiration, because of that strategy, if I might add, I always said that my mom was the first strategic planner I knew. She knew she needed to leave Louisiana, come north, and seek a better life. So, I embrace being her son and my dad's son. I embrace, my two brothers who I love dearly. I always say that, my big brother was a Denzel Washington of his day. There was no other body that I looked up to more than him.
Okay.
So he encouraged me to do everything I could do and be everything I could be.
Well, thank you so much. And we're going to talk a little bit further about some other issues, but go ahead, Dr.
Okay. So, yes. Again, I also want to thank you for the opportunity to be here and to be able to, have some meaningful dialogue with the community about these very serious issues.
Yes.
And to also commend you on the great work that you do on a day-to-day basis.
I love what I do.
You're giving us accolades, but you deserve a lot of accolade on your own. Absolutely.
To them that much is given, much is required.
Right.
And I think we're called to do what we do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So who am I? I've thought about this question a lot. And I think that, it's really hard to identify a single core issue that defines who I am. As Donald talks about his past and his parents, migrating from the South, so did mine. I was born in Tennessee, grew up on a farm in Tennessee. And that's very much a part of who I am.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
I often, with my friends, basically I'm identified as a country boy at heart.
Okay.
Especially those who grew up in the city. I'm very much, very family oriented. And so I'm a grandfather. I'm a father. I'm a husband. And even though my title is one of President and CEO of the Bobby Wright Behavioral Health Center, I'm also, and I don't say this with any degree of arrogance or conceit at all, but I'm also a psychologist, not just by my training, but by who I am, in essence, in terms of who I am. If you can understand where I'm coming from.
I understand.
And it took a while for me to come to understand that,
Okay.
okay, in terms of, my desire to really understand human behavior and what motivates human behavior.
So you're just passionate about everything you do because it's just innate.
It's me.
Yeah, it's just who you are.
It's who I am.
So tell me this, then. Tell me this. What is the West Side Community Triage and Wellness Center? Can you do that?
Yes, I can.
Tell me that. What's that?
The West Side Community Triage and Wellness Center is a place that's located at 4133 West Madison, but it's also a concept. It's an idea, and we hope that eventually it becomes a movement.
Okay.
Okay. So it is a place where people who are experiencing a mental health or substance use related crisis can come and get help.
So wait.
Yeah.
That's happening on the West Side?
Yes.
You mean wait a minute? You mean to tell me if folks are experiencing some anxiety, which I had one shot of it, if folks are going through some anger management issues, if folks are really having some problems with balancing their mental state of mind, you mean to tell me that's what this community is about? This center's about?
Depression. They're going through depression. They're
Depression,
suffering.
right.
They're going through pain. You mentioned anxiety, and let me also say they're also experiencing happiness and joy and pride and satisfaction. The whole gamut, if you will, of emotions are being experienced right here on the West Side. I think that what gets characterized many times is that we're just a depressed side of town.
Okay.
A doggy dog, who cares, kind of an existence. When in reality, if that was the case, we wouldn't be here talking today.
Well, I follow you all's work, and I think this is definitely needed on the West Side of Chicago because now it's time to educate our future leaders, to let them know that it's okay to say that you need help.
Exactly.
And I think that's some of the hardest things for folks to do when you don't know no better.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the beauty of what's going to happen here on the west side of Chicago, in my mind, I think it's an excellent opportunity for our people to be empowered, to be enlightened, to be enriched, and to have an opportunity to really address some issues. So tell me this, what in your all's opinion, we're going to come out and we're going to do this ribbon cutting on July the 30th, right?
Yes.
From 10 to 12, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be at 4133 West Madison, right? So you want folks to come out to do what?
Absolutely. You know, we want folks to come out and be informed. We want them to see the site. We want them to utilize the site. And, you know, we're also going to be providing an opportunity for the police to do what they call diversionary drop-offs.
Okay.
That's
Meaning
basically that the Chicago Police Department, Chicago Fire Department, first responders will have an opportunity to bring folks to our triage center as opposed to going to Cook County Jail.
Whoa. So if a person is experiencing what, Doc? If they're going through what, then what would be the reason for to be sent or be dropped off there? What would be the reason?
Okay, so
If they got shot or something, that ain't what you're talking about, are you?
no.
So what are you saying?
So we have literally thousands of people who are incarcerated at Cook County Jail for misdemeanor crimes that were committed in the community for doing something. They may have exposed themselves, or they shoplifted something out of a store, they threatened someone or what have you, okay? That person may have been acting out of the fact that they were having auditory hallucinations. They were hearing voices that told them or commanded them to engage in a certain behavior that was socially inappropriate.
Okay.
And so and we don't blame the police for this, because the only options that have been available to the police is to, one, arrest that person and take them to jail, or to take them to an inpatient facility, via the emergency room.
Okay, let me ask this.
So we're the alternative to that.
Okay, so this is a place where immediate intervention can be provided.
Yes.
For crises.
Yes.
Not necessarily felony things,
No.
but mental health or some low minor misdemeanor stuff.
Exactly.
Like streaking.
Yes. Right.
All right?
Exactly.
Or drinking and being intoxicated.
Exactly.
Like something like
Right.
that.
Yes.
Okay, what are opioids?
Opioids are a class of drugs that basically are derived from the poppy, which is a plant that grows in Asia, Southeast Asia,
Yeah.
Colombia, places
Yeah.
like that. And so they are a class of drugs that affect
Is
that
it from
part
the
of the
family of
brain.
opium?
Yes, absolutely. It's from the family of opium, right? And they affect that part of the brain that's responsible for processing pain.
Okay.
Okay. So
Like-
common on the street is heroin.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
No, and common in the house is what?
In the house?
Codeine with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Codeine, exactly. In your cough syrup.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So let me ask
Same
this.
class.
Same class. So what can we? Because now there's been this push of folks going in there taking their parents' medication. Getting
Right.
high off of it, and folks have been actually going out there buying stuff now. I just heard recently that most doctors have been giving folks who claim that they have nerve problems or something like that. They call this gabapentin. It's a nerve,
Gabapentin, yeah.
like a muscle relaxer.
Yes,
But
right.
it's a nerve relaxer. But it's from. They just recently said that it's now been considered an opioid.
Right.
So tell us now, Donald. Tell us what can we expect from this triage and wellness center.
Well, first of all, we can expect that the community will know that they've got a group of folks who are caring, compassionate, and responsive. And I really want to emphasize that: caring, compassionate, and responsive, and also culturally sensitive. Because we understand the importance of what our people have been going through. So when they come and present with issues around, mental illness and substance use disorder and so on down the line, they're going to have an encounter a group of professionals who can, up to a 23-hour period of time, make a full and and comprehensive assessment, not only of the crisis situation, but help them de-escalate from that crisis, and then get those needed resources and services to, in fact, support them. What are the options? Either, we're going to determine that a person needs to, in fact, go to the hospital, or a person can be, in fact, stabilized on medication. They can get the needed resources.
From on Madison.
Right there on Madison Street, right? And in fact, there may very well be other types of support services needed, such as supervised residential services for persons with mental illness. They need to possibly be referred to an outpatient alcoholism substance abuse program.
But I heard you say something about being culturally sensitive. What do you mean by that?
Basically in touch with the Black experience.
Okay.
Understanding, basically the historical and generational trauma that we've experienced as people for 400 years, and understanding that, there's institutional racism that impacts a lot of what we experience on daily life.
So are you telling me, Dr. Saafir, this center is going to be, it's going to be, for the most part, providing services of people that look like us?
Yes, right.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, right. Who look like us, who think like us, who understand, the nuance in our communication, who are going to be less likely to misinterpret, information because they know where that's coming from.
A young person told me one day, I love working with young people. And I said, what's wrong with you today? Well, you already know what's wrong with me. I have anger management issues. What kind of mentality is that?
Well, first of all, let me just jump in because I really want to make sure that we talk a little bit about this before we have to conclude. We're very, very concerned that the rate of suicide among our African American youth has been increasing at astronomical proportions, at a rate of 2 times that of white. And,
Suicide.
Suicide. And then, prior to this particular period of time, that has been unheard of virtually in our community. So the question is, well, why? It's because of all the conditions that we know that exist.
So would that be provided, assistance on that?
Absolutely.
Suicide prevention or suicide watch at this center?
Yeah.
Because you know what? One day I was walking, I'm telling you facts now. One day I was walking past the site on Madison, and a young lady was walking past there and literally I'm serious, told me, I want to kill myself. I said, well, you want to kill yourself? Why you want to kill yourself? She said, I just don't feel good. I'm depressed, blah, 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 blah. And so I tried to refer her to some other places, and I had some people to come over there and get her. Because I was afraid that she was literally going to do it. So tell us what you would like for us to know. We got a few minutes here. If people want to get in touch with you all about what's going on at this center, and I'm telling you all, this is going to be the place you want to be, what should they do? How could they get in touch with either of you guys?
Yeah. Well, we have a phone number that people can call, and that number is 773-854-8313.
One more time.
773-854-8313.
So is this anonymous?
Well, first of all, let me say this is just where you can get information from.
Right, that's free information.
But when we launch on the ribbon cutting on the 30th,
On the 30th.
we're also going to be announcing a number that folks can call 24 hours, 7 days a week for crisis emergency.
Now that's important.
Yes.
Right.
So because you have some of our people, who are suffering from some different things, but they don't want everybody to know their business.
Right.
Right.
So I was inquiring, and you just answered that. So there would be an opportunity for someone to call in and talk to someone and say, and then that information don't get shared with other folk, but they can have some confidentiality.
Absolutely.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So as we start to wrap up, tell us anything you want us to know about the state of the west side of Chicago mentally.
Document.
Wow.
And we got a couple of minutes,
yeah.
I want to share those 2 minutes, one with you and one with you, if you don't mind.
Yeah. I think that, overall, I think that the negative gets magnified, over the positive, okay? Generally, and this is not necessarily related to the West Side, I think it's related to the black condition in America, is that, generally we are doing not as well as other groups, not because of who we are, but because of the conditions that we have been placed in. Okay. So when you look at some of those social determinants that drive people to experience depression and anxiety and
It's not
be
uncommon, though, is it?
No, it's not uncommman.
I ain't crazy, am I?
No, you're not crazy, and that's a word that we really need to stop using. Okay, but the conditions that cause people to develop, chronic illness, not only physical illness but mental illness, these things don't just come out of the sky. They're related to the environment that you are in.
Okay. So you're saying that we're a product of our environment?
We are very much a product of our
Take that last minute, Donald, and tell us, as Dr. Saafir was saying, you ain't crazy, and stop saying it. Stop saying you're crazy. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And so basically what we're trying to do is really address the mental health stigma in our community. That it's not good, for us to talk about the state of our mind. Well, it's okay for us to talk about the state of our body.
Right.
Why not the mind? Right. If you've got a headache, you talk about a headache. If you've got pain in your foot or any other place in your body, you talk about that. So you ought to be able to talk about the fact that I'm not feeling well today. I am feeling depressed. I do feel like, I just want to end it all. There's no hope for my future. Look at what's going on around me. My best friend has been killed. My daddy, I don't have a daddy. My daddy's in jail. My mama's on drugs. I saw my mama out there prostituting. So if people are experiencing this kind of anxiety, this kind of stress, this kind of just disappointment about their lives and pain about their lives, then yeah, that is going to create some mental distress. And I would also go further to say that the mind relieves itself in the body. So the bottom line is that there will be physical results to that mental pain that is experienced.
Yeah.
And so part of the other thing that we're really trying to emphasize is a wellness component. So also at this center, Reverend, will be classes, instructional workshops,
For
seminars, for anybody, to learn about
Do they have
stress.
to pay?
No, it's going to be free of charge. So they can learn about stress management, yoga, Tai Chi, learning about...
No, we ain't gonna let you get by like
yes,
that.
Sir. Yes, sir.
You mean to tell me some folks can be walking down the street?
Yes,
Listen where I'm going now.
Yes, sir.
You on Madison now.
Yes, sir.
Everybody needs something on Madison.
Everybody.
All right. Now, they can just walk up in the center and say, listen, I want to join this yoga class.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, let me say this to you. We're doing an event in Clark Park tomorrow, right across the street from the center, from the housing facility you got over there. It's a light in the night event to reduce underage drinking, substance abuse, and violence. And we want to encourage the seniors to come out normally we come out and bring them fruit and vegetables and stuff like that, just give it to them. So we're doing this event to let folks know that they are loved, that somebody care about them. It's going to be tomorrow at Clark Park at 4615 West Jackson. Come on out, free food, free entertainment, family fun, all kind of stuff, basketball, whatever you want to do, music, dancing, however, have fun, resources. But we want to encourage our seniors. We should never turn our back on our seniors.
Absolutely.
Right.
Just like we should never turn our back on our young people. I think our young people feel the way they feel because they feel like folks don't respect them.
Right.
Or listen to them.
Yes.
And our seniors feel the way they feel because they feel like they've been forgotten.
Right.
So we want to encourage those of you to come on out tomorrow. Give us a closing comment. We got about 30 seconds. Give us a closing comment. What you want us to know as we close out.
Well, I would want people to know that, this center is there for the community.
Okay.
And we want the community to take full advantage of the services that are going to be provided there.
Just come.
Just come.
How about you, Don?
Absolutely.
I want the community to know that we are just seeking to serve. We're not perfect in the service, but we are well intended. And it is our absolute desire to be responsive to the human condition on the west side of Chicago.
You heard it first, so now you know. Come on out on the 30th to the Wellness Center on 4133 West Madison. It's open. It's a ribbon cutting. You're going to find out all of the resources available. Listen, time is moving so fast, but God bless you. God loves you. Keep the faith. Keep doing what you're doing. Love each other, forgive each other, and support each other. You can do that. Don't forget about Nooney. Don't forget about Mathana. And don't forget about yourself. We got a place now on the west side that's there to help you. God bless you, God keep you, and keep doing the good work until we see you next week, same time, same station. God bless you. Good night. Peace. Thank you, good brothers, for coming out.